Peace and blessings. Welcome to the campaign trail, Brother Cam. Friday, September 27th. Latest report, more than 13,000 convicted red rummer immigrants have recently been allowed into the U.S., into our borders. Over 13,000 convicted red rummers, immigrants. Now, why would this be happening? Why would this be allowed? I have a news clip we're going to review real quick, react to from Fox News that just came out. Let's listen.
The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
Released into the United States. Apparently, this is by ICE. It says ICE Director. So ICE is releasing convicted red rummers after they caught, releasing them into the United States.
The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here. And this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Malugin. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon. Bill, the details of this news, what do you have?
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered, deported from the country by a judge, but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind. This
Still here roaming the country. Why are they still here roaming the country? To what benefit? Why would they still be here? You know what I mean? And looking at this little number right here, not little number, but large number, it's not just those convicted of deletions of others, is 15,811 convicted, not suspected, convicted of SAs that also have been released and is freely wandering around in America. Who allowed this? Why would you ever allow this?
Detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that number, over 13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now. On top of that, there are another 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's non-detained docket. It doesn't stop there. Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under 1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be glazing over right now with all the numbers we just threw at you. Just to put it in a nutshell right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault, and there are
So yeah, let's look at this real quick. So we already kind of went over this before. This is September 23rd, earlier this week. Headlines out of Chicago. Chicago gangs clash with Venezuela gangs. It says blacks against migrants. This is Channel 7 news. Police identified 3 more people from viral video of armed men inside Aurora. I think that's Colorado, right? Yeah, that's not Chicago. Remember that story? I think this is the same story. Gang member charged over viral video of such and such toting migrants terrorizing Aurora, Colorado, after local cops initially denied group was part of said gangs. Man, so who is allowing all of this? You know they're there. You know they documented. You know they convicted. Why would you allow them in the country? Why would you not enforce whatever we so well enforce when it comes to us, the people that's descendants of slaves? Boy, they know how to lock us all the way down, track us down, but we can't track down these violent, convicted, felonious immigrants. Let's keep listening.
Or even more who are facing charges for homicide and charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket who are either convicted, 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crime.
Out of the 600,000 that's roaming, that's floating among us, whether it's clashing with so-called gangs, even though the gangs are actual citizens, born and raised, descendants of slaves or whatever, actual alleged citizens, we know we're not enjoying real citizenship, but they being allowed to come practice their convicted behavior on our population. I'm sure that you're not finding them in Beverly Hills or in the Hamptons or no upscale affluent neighborhoods, but they definitely are in our neighborhoods. So who's allowing that? What is the real motive and agenda behind allowing millions? Because we know, according to reports, is up to 20 million of these type of undocumented or so-called illegal immigrants that are in the borders of America now. And who is the borders are? Who is allowing it? What are they running on? We're not talking about Mexicans. These are not Mexicans. We're not talking about Mexicans. We're talking about others.
222,000 are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about.
Yeah, man. So I want to know what y'all's thoughts are, because I already talked about this a little bit a couple of days ago, about what the motivation is, who's really behind bringing in these immigrants, and is it actually because they're being used as bodies and soldiers against us and distractions and voting numbers, people that you allow them in, and they're going to develop a natural patriotic position supporting the administration that brought them in or allowed them to come in the first place, especially if they know that they're convicts and we allowed them in, or this administration allowed them in, then they're going to be loyal to this administration and they'll be willing to fight against whoever this administration gives them the green light to fight against, whether it's the military, whether it's in the streets with the so-called gangs, or the descendants of slaves, or with the Mexicans. So we seeing firsthand clear agenda, because if we have the power to enforce laws and be so-called peacekeepers all around the world with the UN and Ukraine and Russia and Israel and all this type of stuff, but we can't even enforce laws and keep people out of our own borders that are convicts, convicted felons of the worst kind, then we all know that this is a play. This is all a play to use these people as soldiers and voters against us and for the party that is in power right now. So give me your thoughts. Let me know what y'all think. Or am I just tripping? Campaign trail. Peace.